we are in this country. This is a country of transgenerational traumatized individuals. And most of us have not acknowledged that.
Most of us have
not acknowledged that
not.
we are the products of transgenerational trauma. And our nervous systems, our perspective of others is greatly affected by those embedded trauma experiences. We didn't have to experience the trauma, but our grandparents and our parents may have conveyed that trauma in their parenting and in their expectations of us.
So you are, for example, someone that has gone through all that, and you are the creator of the Polyvagal Theory, and you have, explored this and reflected about this. What would be the steps toward healing that come to you? I know it's a very difficult question because every person is different. Every human being is going through particular.
There's certain simple rules, and the first rule is an awareness of one's own feelings, an acknowledgement, an honoring of that, and not a dispelling or a dismissive aspect about the feelings. So we have these feelings and we start to understand, oh, wow, my body is in a state of threat. Why is it in a state of threat? What are the signals? We explore that. And we start learning that in certain contexts, I feel great. In other contexts, I'm very unsure of myself. I mean, we can start thinking about children who refuse to go to school because they have gut pains. They have school refusal because in their feelings in their body is life threat. And, what do we say? Oh, you'll get over it, go to school, because we have our own agenda. We need to go to work. So we don't listen to the bodies of our children. And I'm saying we have to listen to the bodies of our children and our own bodies. So we start with listening to our bodies. And Amelia, what you're doing in your own work is giving people a toolkit to feel their body. So once you listen to your body, you go through your practices. What you're doing is allowing people to gain a greater range of their bodily feelings and use it as literally a toolkit to help them regulate their days. So see your place in this whole second step. Once I'm aware, can I now start developing skill sets? So all the ancient practices, we can simplify it, and I don't mean to trivialize it. All the ancient practices are really about getting methodologies or technologies of changing visceral feelings. I mean, we can create metaphors over it, and many of them are about expanding vagal regulation, which means gaining greater resilience in our physiological regulation of our bodies. And when that greater resilience enables us to go into different states without being locked into them. We visit them, we're not captured by them. We explore without being locked into them.
So someone was asking about genetic memory, and for what I understand and have read, is that the genes are there, but they don't predetermine us. That is it's like with the trauma. The trauma is not the event that happened, but how we hold it, but also how we keep feeding it every time it comes up. Is that correct? Or
let me you're talking to a person who has a very optimistic viewpoint. If you talk to people who are, in a sense, genetic determinists, they will say other things, and even if there isn't data to support it. The issue is, with an optimistic viewpoint, you optimize what you have. So let's even assume there is a type of genetic determinism occurring. But with an optimistic perspective, you open the window up, you open the portal up, and you become the best or the most flexible, the most comfortable that you can become. So I take this optimistic viewpoint, and it's like you could be dealt a deck of cards that has high risk for all these things. But if you start to literally become aware of your physiological state, expand the range that your physiology can respond, and as you go through the exercises, you're gaining the wisdom of understanding what your body is doing. You're becoming you're becoming part of that whole action.
Right. Right. That's what we were talking and teaching in the Polyvagal Institute course on embodying safety, the
Mm.
connection between polyvagal theory, which is all this understanding about our neurophysiology, and then what are some practices to
Yeah.
with that transition or this retraining. Um, we are almost at the end of the dialogue, and I want to thank you a lot for all your contributions today and your openness. I can't put into words, Steve, how much, and people are saying here, how much we thank you for your whole presence here and your work and your caring, and just so real and so much brought into our daily lives.
So thank you, Amelia. I really, as a academic, I think the beauty of life is stepping out of the academic uh, girdle or confinement and stepping into the real world. And that's what you're doing, and that's what I'm doing. And when we step into the real world, we can become who we really are. So we leverage our credentials as being academics, but our heart is in humanity. And so whenever I have opportunities to be who I really am, I view this as a gift to me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And see you next year on this same course.
Of course, of course.